This content strategy helped me build a 6-figure agency from scratch, get invited to speak at conferences all around the world, and generate close to $1 million in revenue, all from LinkedIn, all organic. But with content strategy, I don't mean a 45-page document that is going to be in your Slack channel collecting dust. A real content strategy is a system. It's knowing exactly what to post, when to post it, why you are posting it, and how it connects to actual business outcomes. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact content system I use for myself and every client at my agency, the 4 content types you need, the infrastructure that makes it sustainable, and the writing process that turns your expertise into posts that actually convert. So let's get into it. Before we build the system, let's talk about why most approaches don't work. The biggest mistake I see, and I did as well, is optimizing for wrong metrics. We chase impressions, we chase followers. We see a post hit 100K views and think that that's the goal. But I've had a post hit 5,000 impressions that generated more qualified leads than posts that hit 100,000. And I also know creators with double my following that don't make a single penny out of LinkedIn. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Why? Because reach without relevance is worthless. If you're getting eyeballs from people who will never buy from you, never refer you, never become valuable connections, then what is the point? The second mistake is posting without a funnel. Most people post whatever comes to mind. I did that as well. Monday, it's a hot take. Tuesday, it's a case study. Wednesday, it's a personal story. There's no strategy connecting any of it. Your content needs to do different jobs. Some posts bring new people, some posts build trust, some posts convert. If you're only doing one of those, you are leaving money on the table. The third mistake, no infrastructure. We think a content strategy is about the posts or the woo-woo idea that's in the business. And it's not. It's the system that actually produces the posts. Without infrastructure, you're starting from zero every time you sit down to write. You are relying on motivation instead of process. That's why most people burn out after 3 weeks. So here's what we are building today. A complete system with 3 parts. First, the content funnel. What types of content you need and how they work together. Second, the infrastructure, the backend that makes consistent posting actually sustainable. Third, the execution, how to actually write posts that perform. So let's start with the funnel. Every piece of content you create should fall into one of 4 buckets. Each bucket does a different job in moving someone from stranger to client. Bucket 1, growth content. This is content designed to reach new people. Industry observations, trend commentary, pattern recognition, hot takes that make people stop scrolling. Growth content is broad by design. You're not trying to convert anyone here. You're trying to get discovered. Here are some examples of growth content. You can be commenting on industry news. You can be sharing observations about what you are seeing across clients, challenging conventional wisdom in your space. The goal is very simple. Someone who's never heard of you sees this post, finds it interesting, and thinks, who is this person? Bucket 2, authority content. My favorite. This is where you prove you actually know what you are talking about. Frameworks, case studies, deep expertise, client results. Authority content builds trust. It's the difference between someone thinking this person has interesting opinions and this person can actually help me and they are credible enough for me to believe in what they're saying. Here's some examples. Breaking down a framework you use with clients, walking through a very specific case study with specific results, explaining your methodology for solving a common problem. Authority content attracts a narrower audience than growth content. And that's actually the point. You want the right people paying attention, not everyone. Bucket 3, conversion content. This is content that actually asks for the business. Lead magnets, direct offers, CTAs that move people from engaged followers to qualified conversations. And we're scared of conversion content because it feels salesy. But if you've built trust with growth and authority content, conversion posts feel like a natural next step. Here's some examples. You can be offering a free resource in exchange for a comment or DM. You can be sharing that you are opening up spots for new clients, promoting a newsletter or lead magnet, a new feature within your product. The key is that conversion content only works if the other buckets have done their job. You can't convert people who don't trust you yet. Bucket 4, personal content. This is where you show the human behind the expertise, your story, your perspective, behind the scenes of what you are building. Personal content deepens connection with people who already follow you. It's what makes them remember you specifically, not just your advice. Till today, I have people remembering me because of a post I did with my mom. But the important note is that personal content is not what my dog taught me about B2B sales. It's real updates that your community actually cares about because they're invested in your journey. And personal content only works once you've built a community. If nobody knows you yet, they might not care about your personal updates. So you need to earn the right to share personal content by providing value first, through growth content and through authority content. So what's the mix? Here's how I think about the ratio. And it can vary depending if you're just starting out, but growth content should be about 35%. This is how we get people finding you. Authority content, another 35%. This is how we convert attention into trust. Conversion content should be about 20%. This turns trust into business. And personal content could be about 10%. This deepens connection with your core audience. And these aren't hard rules like I mentioned before. Some weeks you'll lean heavier on one bucket, but if you zoom out over a month, you want all 4 represented. And here's something that I was struggling when I was building this funnel is your voice and point of view should shine through all of them. These buckets are about intent, not style. That's why a growth post and an authority post can both be storytelling. They can both educate. The difference is what they're doing in your funnel. Okay, but before we start, there are 2 things I want you to do. The first one is go into deep research mode. If you haven't already understood who are the key players within your industry posting on LinkedIn, if you haven't gone and stalked your favorite LinkedIn creators and what are the posts that do well for them, what are their outliers, if you haven't gone in and checked if your ICP is more of a lurker or they're posting, stop everything and do that right now before you keep watching this video, because that is super important. In a video where I talk about how I stole my way to $1 million through LinkedIn, I talk about this more in depth, so go check that out. But we want to get as much inspiration from the people that have done this well, understanding what are the outliers, what are the things that perform the best, what is our ICP mostly interacting with, what formats, how are they doing things, just to get some inspo. If you're going to just start posting and creating a content strategy and a positioning doc without actually understanding and doing some benchmark and some research within your industry within LinkedIn, again, like I mentioned before, stop everything you're doing because you're going to start in a really rough patch. If you've already done that, then we can continue. So the second thing I want you to make sure you have is a set of 3 assets. I want you to build a small document, not a 49-page presentation doc that you will never use again. A small document that will be about your content strategy and your positioning. What are you going to put in this doc? What is the challenge your ICP has that you can solve? So what's the problem and what is your solution? Then we're going to talk about positioning. So what is your primary positioning? An alternative framing to that, why it works, what style inspirations you have. Again, the heroes that you were researching before, you're going to add that there. What to avoid, and then what your company specifically solves. After that, you're going to put your ideal customer profile, your specific, by industry, geographic focus, company size, that ICP's pain points, and then you can add in this document the content strategy framework that I'm going to mention in a few. So you'll understand why we need this. This is to be able to upload into your desired AI writing tool. I recommend Claude. Out of the most popular LLMs, it is the best tool to write LinkedIn posts. And the last section is where your content is coming from. So this will also be very helpful because we are going to connect your Drive and any other tools using the connectors in this case that Claude offers so that it can have maximum context possible. The second document is your content North Stars. There is no point in creating content if you talk about you're going that way one day, you're going that way another day, you're going the other way another day, and there is no clear alignment with what we call at Distinctiva, your North Stars. You should always be looking towards the same direction, going that direction, or else you're going to confuse your audience. You're not even going to have clear what it is, and content market fit is going to be extremely hard to find. So these are going to be your guiding principles that every or most piece of content must align with at least one or preferably multiple North Stars. Add a tone and format guideline. In this case, this tone and format guideline is super important so that Claude can understand your specific writing style. Depending on how much resources and how much content you can upload to Claude is the quality of the content we're going to get. Now, let's talk about the back end, because the best content strategy in the world fails if you can't execute it consistently. There are 3 pieces of infrastructure I set up for every client and use myself. Piece 1 is our content calendar framework. This is where everything lives, and I mean everything. So let me walk you through how this actually works. So I run a Kanban board in Notion. Every piece of content starts as a card and it moves through the pipeline. The first column is ideas. Right now I have over 100 sitting here. These are raw, half-formed thoughts, a hook that came to me at a random moment during a walk, a framework I explained on a client call, a topic I want to tackle eventually. Nothing polished, just captured. Next, I have in progress. This is where I'm actively writing, taking those raw ideas and turning them into actual posts. Design, the copy is done. Now it needs visuals, carousels, one-pagers, images, whatever formats fits. So because I have a design team, I have a section that needs design edits or needs content edits. Because edits, you don't necessarily, again, like I mentioned, have to have these. This is because I have an agency, team members, and we need to know when someone needs to come in and do some sort of edit. And then posted. I've got 449 posts tracked in there. That means that I've posted, I didn't even notice that. I've posted 449 times. Every single thing I've published, dated, and tagged by format. And there is an extra column I have here called For Distinctiva because a lot of my posts can be repurposed for other team members to use. Contents that become templates, frameworks that gets adapted for the rest of the team to use. And it's something that we're trying to implement more, which is employee advocacy. So every card is tagged by format, carousel, one-pager, video, images, text posts. So when I need a specific type of content, I can filter it instantly. This content calendar framework solves the biggest problem people have, sitting down to write with no idea what to write about, especially this column of content bank. When your bank has ideas waiting for you, you're never starting from zero. You're just picking what to work on next. Piece 2 is our Google Drive. This is where I keep all my source material, meeting transcripts, SOPs, conference presentation, client onboarding docs, strategy decks. And this is why this actually matters, because Drive is connected to my Claude. So when I need to create something, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not staring at a blank page trying to think of something smart to say. I can pull up a transcript from my latest sales calls and say, turn this objection handling into a post. Tell me the prospect's biggest pain points and how I solve them, and give me a hook based on that. Like, there's so many different ways you can use your source materials that are already in Drive, or grab a conference presentation and extract 3 LinkedIn ideas from it. The content already exists. It's buried in calls I've already had, presentations I've already given, documents I've already written. And Drive is just my way of making it accessible, and the Claude connection makes it actually usable. So in this case, you don't need that many tools. With an organized Notion content calendar, a Drive, and then your desired AI writing tool, you have enough. And that is the difference between creating content and extracting content, because one is exhausting, the other is an actual system. Can we add more automations into it? Have we for clients? Yes. Am I going to show them in this post? Don't have enough time, but there are so many automations you can build in here in Slack, with Zapier, with N8N, for repurposing. There's so many other things, but it is as easy. And all these years that I've been creating posts on LinkedIn, as having a good content calendar on Notion, being able to source your information from somewhere, and an AI writing tool to help you out. Now, let's talk about actually writing posts, because even with the best infrastructure, you need a process for turning raw insights into finished content. Here's the 5-step process I follow. Step 1, choose your intent. Before you write anything, decide what bucket this is for. Is this growth, authority, conversion, or personal? This decision shapes everything else: the hook, the structure, the CTA. Step 2, we are going to write the body first. So most people start with the hook. My theory is that is backwards, because you need to write the actual content first. Get your ideas done. Include the specific numbers, the frameworks, the examples. Make it useful. And once you have the body, finding the hook becomes much easier. Step 3, when you've already written the body or your word vomit, we're going to mine for your hook. Read through what you wrote, find the most interesting, surprising, or provocative line, move it to the top. The best hooks already exist in your content. You just have to find them. Your hook needs to do one of 3 things, which is important for you to keep in mind: create curiosity, challenge a belief, or promise specific value. And then step 4 is to add a visual if it helps. Not every post needs an image, but my recommendation, according to a few studies that we've been analyzing about the LinkedIn formats that do the best, you should always try to include a visual. Either if it's an image, a 1-pager, a screenshot, it just performs naturally a lot better than just text posts. So a visual can help you get your point clear. It makes the post more scannable, or it adds credibility. So I would include one. There's so many things you can do: frameworks, framework diagrams, screenshots, before and after data, photos of you speaking or working. These all add dimension if the context is right. Step 5, we end with a CTA that matches your intent. Growth posts can be anything as asking a question that sparks discussion. Authority posts can be anything like DM me for the template, common X for the full framework. Conversion posts, you can actually put the link, let's say, under your name, DM them the keyword, or no CTAs in all of them. And then personal posts, often you don't really need a CTA, just connection. So what are the formatting basics? We're going to try to keep paragraphs short, 2 to 3 lines max on mobile. We use white space. We let the post breathe. We write at 7th or 8th grade reading level, simple language, clear ideas, and read it out loud before you post. If you wouldn't say it in a conversation, rewrite it. Again, as I've mentioned in other posts, formatting is completely personal to you. The idea is to be able to make your post readable. But if you've seen any of my previous videos, I will link that one right here. I broke all the LinkedIn rules for a client's post that we were strategizing, and it went insanely viral. So everything I say here can be adapted according to the situation, the context, and that's what makes a good content strategy. It's adapted. Just like I said, some will end with CTA, some won't. Some posts you will easily write using AI, some others you'll need more of yourself. So every single post, it's a world in itself. Every single client that we have at Distintivo is a world in itself. Now, what should a Claude project have to be able to write good LinkedIn posts? The first thing is the instructions should be super clear. You should add what Claude's role is in this specific project, your identity, who you are, what you do, who you help, your origin story, your opinions, so spicy takes, contrarian beliefs, things you hate in your industry, your writing rules, so any banned words you have. In this case, I would try to get banned words like leverage, unlock, game changer, dive deep. Formatting, no M dashes, 1 to 3 line paragraphs, line breaks between paragraphs, and then your tone, conversational, and use contractions. Next, your knowledge base. This is in the section where you add the files. So you can add a few of your best LinkedIn posts so it understands your writing style if you have already written LinkedIn posts, call transcripts, client conversations, if you can't just easily connect it to your Drive, case studies, frameworks you use, and then also examples of posts you hate so Claude knows what not to do. A clear example is you can upload a document called Posts I Love with screenshots and then upload another one called AI Slop Examples so Claude sees what to avoid. And here are a few prompts that actually work. Feel free to pause the video and take a screenshot. Content gets you seen, but engagement is what builds relationships. When you are starting out, your comments matter more than your posts. When you post to a small audience, few people see it. But when you comment on a post with 50,000 impressions, you are borrowing someone else's audience. Strategic commenting means finding posts from people whose audiences matches your ICP. Leaving comments that actually add value, not just great post, an insight, a story, a respectful challenge, being consistent, 15 to 30 minutes a day, every day. The goal isn't to be everywhere, it's to be visible in the right places, adding genuine value, and over time this builds familiarity. People start recognizing your name, they click your profile, they follow you, the flywheel starts spinning, and the psychological reciprocity effect kicks in. People want to support you because you support them. And don't forget to also engage in your own post. Reply to every comment, ask follow-up questions, keep the conversation going, hit their DMs. The algorithm rewards active engagement, but more importantly, it's how you actually build relationships with the people paying attention to you. One little tip I will give you here for engaging a lot easier is creating an engagement list. A simple Excel sheet will do where you divide it from category, name, LinkedIn URL, and then you can add a little checklist box if you've done it or not. One thing that is very important for you to take into account with the LinkedIn URL is don't add the person's link to their profile, because then you are going to appear like you are stalking this person every single day. If they have activated being able to see who sees their profile, they're going to see you looking at their profile every single day, and that's going to be a bit creepy. So make sure you add the link of recent activity. How do you find this link? You go into their profile, you press show all posts, and then that is the link you're adding to your Excel sheet, or else you're going to look very creepy. Now, let me recap the complete system. The content funnel, 4 buckets working together. Growth brings people in, authority builds trust, conversion creates business, and personal deepens connection. The infrastructure, your content calendar for all your raw and finished material, Drive for organization, Claude project or any AI tool for efficient writing. The writing process, you choose your intent, you write your body first, you mind for your hook, you add a visual, and you match a CTA to intent. The engagement layer is strategic commenting to borrow audiences and build relationships. And this is the system we use. This is what I built for every client at Distinctiva. It's not complicated, but it requires consistency. The compound effect only kicks in if you stick with it long enough. Commit to 90 days minimum. That's about 40 to 50 posts if you are posting 3 to 5 times a week. Your first 20 posts are practice. Posts 21 through 40 are where you find your voice, your community. Posts 41 and beyond are where momentum kicks in. You find content market fit. Don't quit before you get there. If this was useful, subscribe. I'm breaking down LinkedIn strategy, content systems, and what's actually working for B2B companies right now. And if you want us to build this for you, if you're a founder or executive who wants to become the recognizable voice in your industry, but you don't have time to figure this out yourself or create a personalized content strategy for yourself, that's exactly what we do at Distinctiva. We extract your expertise, build your content system, and turn LinkedIn into your main content engine. Links in the description or DM me on LinkedIn, Deandra Escobar. See you in the next one.